That is why sea turtle conservation programs are organized annually around the world. They attract many volunteers and help raise public awareness about the threats to sea turtle species. Local authorities are taking measures to restore the coral reef ecosystem in Nha Trang Bay. They will organize regular cleanups of the seabed and removal of marine debris. Diving clubs will also help by having their professional divers collect broken pieces of coral, regrow them in underwater nurseries, and then reattach them to reefs. Coral cover is expected to increase, which will help restore natural habitats and promote marine biodiversity in the bay. In addition, the bay's management board will also monitor the number of swimmers and divers to avoid putting too much stress on the ecosystem. An exhibition entitled Paint for Wildlife will be held in Hanoi next week. It will include more than 30 paintings by secondary school students across the country. Visitors will also have the opportunity to meet the young artists and discuss the stories behind their beautiful paintings. All of them will be on sale to raise money for the protection of endangered and vulnerable species. The event organizers hope to raise public awareness of wildlife conservation through art and contribute to efforts to save rare and endangered animals. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, Red List divides species into 7 levels of conservation: least concern, near threatened, vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, extinct in the wild, and extinct. It uses a set of precise criteria to evaluate extinction risks and decides which species need protection. An endangered species is one that meets any of the following criteria. Population reduction rate: A species is classified as endangered when its population has declined between 50 and 70%. This decline is measured over 10 years or longer. Geographic range describes the area where a species is found. If the area that a species lives on, known as its area of occupancy, is estimated to be less than 500 square kilometers, then the species is classified as endangered. Population size: A species is classified as endangered when there are fewer than 2,500 mature individuals. When a species population declines by at least 20% or 2 generations within 5 years, it is also classified as endangered. The mass media has undergone many changes over the last century. Artificial intelligence has also had an impact on the media. AI has become an important part of all forms of mass communication. Nowadays, people receive so much information from different sources that it is difficult to spot false stories. This is where AI can help. The advanced technology is able to classify types of information and recognize news that is not suitable for the public. Furthermore, AI can automatically change data into various forms such as online graphic organizers, images, and videos. This innovation is a breakthrough in journalism. Social media is popular all over the world, and more people are using platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, etc. AI can make these platforms much safer and help the users avoid identity theft. A typical example is facial recognition software that allows us to increase the safety and security of our accounts. In many cases, social networking sites require personal information, which can be verified via facial recognition. Although television has been popular for a long time, it is now attracting larger audiences because of new features made possible by AI. TV viewers can watch programs with higher picture quality and a lot of special effects. AI can also provide personalized recommendations to different users. The software can help TV viewers find channels or programs based on their preferences, behavior, and history. Our Teen Talk magazine has recently received a lot of questions from secondary school students asking about things they should consider when choosing their careers. We've talked to our career experts, and here is their advice. First, learn about yourself and discover your personality type, beliefs, soft skills, and interests. For example, if you are passionate about working with people and helping them develop, you may consider becoming a social worker or a teacher. If you are interested in languages, history, art, and architecture, you might look at jobs in the tourist industry. Spend time thinking about what you want to do, and list what you are good at. This can help you come up with a career path that matches your personality. Next, you should take into account any career qualifications you may need. Many jobs require formal education at a university or college. In order to work as a doctor, for example, You will need to study at medical school for some years of general medical training, followed by several years of specialty training. But there are also jobs that don't require any formal qualifications. You can be hired as a server or a barista in a coffee shop, for instance, and you will be given on-the-job training. You should also consider your chances of being hired. Some fields of work may offer very few positions. With technology developing at a fast pace, some jobs such as cashiers and travel agents may become automated or obsolete. However, other jobs are on the rise. Doctors, nurses, and pharmacists, for instance, are in great demand because of aging populations and increased life expectancy. That is why before you make a decision, you should carefully examine the opportunities that a career path may provide. Technology has brought a lot of changes to our lives. The introduction of new technologies and the growth of artificial intelligence have also created a lot of career opportunities. Here are some jobs that we'll be seeing more of in the coming years. Nowadays, coding, or the process of writing computer programs, is becoming a valuable skill that recruiters are looking for. A recent survey of tech workers and employers has found that the job of a software developer will be the most important tech job in the future. Not surprisingly, in many countries, coding has even been added to the primary school curriculum. Over the past few years, the demand for content creators, those creating content for digital channels, has increased dramatically. There are a lot of job opportunities for content creators in different industries such as media, IT, fashion, pop music, travel and food services. Companies need to communicate with their customers, so they will always need talented content creators to help them. As a result, content creation will continue to grow and will still be a career in the future. Personal data should only be collected and used for specific purposes. However, personal data can also be misused or used illegally to commit offenses. Therefore, the demand for data protection officers, who educate employees about data handling, and data detectives, who examine data and detect issues, will go up. There will be plenty of data privacy jobs for people with the right technical and legal skills. The above-mentioned jobs are among the many in-demand jobs of the future. If you are really interested in any of them, try to spend some time exploring them, so you can prepare for your future career. In a few weeks' time, you'll complete your secondary education. Some of you may have already made plans for continuing your studies at university or vocational school, while others may wish to start working right away. Whatever choice you make, remember to keep on learning new knowledge and skills. Haven't we learnt enough in secondary school? Many may wonder. In fact, learning does not stop after graduation. It is a lifelong process. It involves creating and maintaining a positive attitude to learning for both professional and personal development. Lifelong learning is especially relevant in today's changing world. It allows you to adapt to changes in the modern workplace and widens your employment opportunities. It helps you make better, informed decisions and become a more well-rounded individual. In addition, it keeps your brain healthy and boosts your memory. Lifelong learning also helps you stay connected with modern ideas and meet new people as you participate in various forms of adult education. Does that mean I have to go to classes again? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because when you start working, you may decide to go to night school or enroll on a distance learning course to learn a skill or get a degree. The answer is also no, because lifelong learning happens all the time. As long as you are motivated, you can learn new knowledge and develop new skills anywhere. Uncle Ho is a great role model for lifelong learning. He never stopped learning throughout his life despite all the hardships and challenges. He learnt to speak different languages, including English, French, Russian, Italian, German, and Chinese mainly by himself. He even wrote poems in Chinese when he was imprisoned in China to keep his mind sharp. He took regular physical exercise, did traditional martial arts, and enjoyed activities such as swimming and mountain climbing throughout his life. We can all learn from Uncle Ho's lifelong efforts to improve himself. Remember that learning is a lifelong journey. Enjoy every moment of it. Bertie Gladwin became one of Britain's oldest graduates after receiving his master's degree in intelligence history from the University of Buckingham at 91. He started his degree at the age of 89 together with his wife, who was then aged 77. "I feel very satisfied to think that I've done an MA at my age," he said at the time. When you're 90, you sit around and not a lot happens, so it's important to carry on learning and to broaden your horizons. Gladwin left school at the age of 14 and never finished his secondary education or went to university. But he still found a satisfying job. When Gladwin retired, he became less active and thought getting back into learning would delay the negative symptoms of old age. He wanted to keep his brain active and learn more about something that had always interested him. Then at the age of 60, he earned a BA in psychology. By the time he was 70, he had also completed a BSc in molecular biology. "They're fascinating subjects," he said. "I did them just because I was interested in them and wanted to know more about them." Choosing a career after leaving senior secondary school is particularly important to students. Below are some practical tips for successful career planning. Making a list of job options is the first step in choosing a career path. People may pursue a particular career for various reasons such as better pay, job satisfaction, promotion prospects, and so on. While making your list, you should learn more about each option that interests you and try to discover new career opportunities that you were not aware of. You should also identify your personal interests and activities you enjoy. Do you see yourself as a patient, responsible, and trustworthy person? Do you have a passion for music, acting, or working with children? Try to discover your personality and get to know your strengths. This will help you match career options to your personality type and interests. There is a lot of support for students trying to make career decisions. Start by discussing your career plan with your parents and teachers. You can also attend job fairs where you will have the opportunity to talk to career advisors and meet employers and recruiters. Make sure you prepare well by researching the participating companies in advance and identifying who you want to talk to. Once you have identified suitable career options and done enough research, start working towards achieving your goals. How do you want to get there? Do you need a university degree or an apprenticeship? Are there any online courses or training programs to help you gain the knowledge and skills your career requires? Write down everything you need to do and monitor your progress as you work. Want to take your first step into a career in fashion design? We are hiring a fashion assistant to join our team at Teen Fashion Culture, a leading fashion retail group. We will offer on-the-job training and support to the right candidate. Job responsibilities: researching current fashion trends, assisting the fashion design team in developing ideas for new products and designing sketches. A biography is a narrative of a person's life written by another person. There are usually 5 main steps in writing a good biography. Choose a subject. Choosing the person you want to write about is, of course, the first step. This could be a celebrity, or someone who is lesser known. You could also write about someone who is still alive or someone who is dead. Most importantly, choose a person who has had an impact on other people, or whose life is interesting. Get permission. Although you can still write about a person's life without his or her permission, it is always better to get the subject's agreement. This will not only help you in your research, but you will also avoid upsetting the person later on if he or she thinks your account is not true. Do your research. You can obtain information through primary sources, e.g. the subject's letters or other personal writings, and interviews with her or him. You can also use secondary sources prepared by someone who didn't know the subject or published at a later time. Choose a format. A biography is usually told in chronological or time order. However, you may also choose to organize the events by themes or specific achievements. Outline, write, and edit. It's a good idea to start with a detailed outline including your main points and the number of chapters. After that, write your first draft. Then revise and edit it until you've got a final version you are happy with. Writing a biography is not easy, but it is worth the effort. A biography often influences or motivates people, and teaches valuable life lessons. Isaac Newton, 1643–1727, and Albert Einstein, 1897–1955, are regarded as 2 of the most important scientists of all time. They also share some similarities. Both Einstein and Newton were described as lonely children who lacked social skills, but had a passion for complex topics. Einstein dropped out of school at the age of 15 because he felt bored and didn't like the teaching style. Similarly, Newton didn't excel in school, although he completed his secondary education and managed to enter Cambridge University. Both worked in the field of physics and maths, but in different time periods and contributed to our understanding of gravity. Newton was the first person to describe gravity and discover the basic laws of mechanics and motion. While Einstein agreed with some aspects of his theory, he showed that Newton was wrong about time and space, and came up with a new theory of gravity. Einstein also established the foundations of modern physics. The scientific achievements of both Newton and Einstein are impressive, and there is still a debate about who made the bigger contribution to humankind. Brazil is home to the largest population in Latin America, of more than 215 million people. Most of them live in the south-central area, which includes the industrial cities of São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and Belo Horizonte. The pace of urbanization has been rapid, with 75% of the population living in urban areas by 1991. While this growth has contributed to economic development, it has also led to serious social, environmental, and political challenges in major cities. Nevertheless, Brazil remains famous for its breathtaking natural beauty. The Brazilian population is made up of four main groups: the Portuguese, who colonized Brazil in the 16th century, Africans who were brought to Brazil as slaves, various other European, Middle Eastern, and Asian immigrant groups who have settled in Brazil since the mid-19th century, and the indigenous people. Although the Portuguese were once the dominant European ethnic group in Brazil, waves of immigration have resulted in a diverse ethnic and cultural heritage. Between 1875 and 1960, approximately 5 million Europeans emigrated to Brazil, settling mainly in the four southern states of São Paulo, Paraná, Santa Catarina, and Rio Grande do Sul. The immigrants were primarily from Italy, Germany, Spain, Japan, Poland, and the Middle East. The largest Japanese community in the world is located in São Paulo. The cultures of the different ethnic groups have together created the modern Brazilian way of life. According to some Canadian news media, university students don't like to share their own cultures with each other and are not keen to learn about new ones. However, a study conducted earlier this year at the University of Winnipeg found the opposite. Its aim was to gauge undergraduate students' attitude towards cultural identity and cultural diversity. It was influenced by the findings of a 2021 study that examined how 9 daily Canadian newspapers defined the term multiculturalism. The current study included 10 undergraduate students who participated in 2 discussions about culture and heritage. All participants agreed on the importance of multiculturalism. 7 of them had arrived in Canada in the last 10 years from different places including the Philippines, Pakistan, and Nigeria. The students talked about where they, their parents, and their grandparents came from, discussing everything from language to festivals, religion, and traditions. 3 groups of students emerged. The first group maintained a strong connection with their heritage culture and values, and shared stories about their customs and how they made sure they didn't forget their heritage language. For example, one of them still liked listening to music in his home language. The second group felt a sense of belonging to a blend of cultures. They were exposed to different cultures when they grew up, however, they were open to and interested in experiencing other cultures through festivals and friends. The third group had experienced language and culture loss through the process of becoming Canadians. Although they were sad about that loss, they still felt enthusiastic about enriching Canadian culture and making it more diverse. How to develop eco-friendly habits. It's easy to adopt eco-friendly habits, and you can always start at home. Here are 3 tips to help you. There are so many electrical appliances around us, so if we could save even a little amount of energy from each appliance, it would add up to a lot. For example, there are likely to be tens of light bulbs in your house, so if you can replace them with LED ones, which are more energy efficient and long-lasting light bulbs, you would save a lot of electricity. Before you buy a new appliance, you should also check its Energy Star rating, which shows how much energy it will use in a year. It's easy to understand. The more stars there are, the more energy you can save. To reduce your carbon footprint, you should also turn off the lights when you leave a room. In addition, keep your windows or curtains open during the day to let natural sunlight in, or place more mirrors near a lamp to maximize lighting in the house. This can also help to reduce both energy consumption and your energy bills. While many people already know that turning off appliances around the house when they finish using them can save energy, they may not know that it is even better to unplug them. It is estimated that we could save up to 10% of our electricity bills every month simply by unplugging appliances when they're not in use. This is especially true for chargers. Many people tend to leave their fully charged phones connected, not knowing that it consumes around 2.24 watts. The figure goes up to 29.84 watts for laptops and computers. Leaving an empty charger plugged in has a similar effect, so make unplugging a habit. Earth Hour is a movement organized by the World Wildlife Fund, WWF. The event takes place annually around the world. It encourages everyone to turn off non-essential electric lights, for 1 hour, from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. on the last Saturday of March. The initiative was proposed in 2004 in Australia, but the idea of a worldwide movement was developed in 2006 under the name The Big Flick. In 2007, the first Earth Hour was held on the 31st of March in Sydney, Australia at 7:30 p.m. local time. Later in October 2007, a similar event called Lights Out was held in San Francisco. Due to the success of these events, the organizers decided to hold Earth Hour annually around the world since then. A study in 2014 claimed that the event reduced electricity consumption by an average of 4%. More importantly, it has helped raise awareness of climate change and has become a symbol of our commitment to protecting our planet. Although 1 hour can't change the world, it encourages governments and people to set long-term goals for sustainable development around the world. Every year on the 31st of December, thousands of people go to Times Square, the New York symbolic center, to celebrate to New Year's Eve. Millions more watch the spectacular ball drop, which has become a global tradition. The ball drop was introduced in 1907, and the event still continues to this day. As the clock nears midnight, people pack into Times Square and the surrounding streets. Some arrive as early as 9 a.m. to claim the best viewing spots. To help the arrival of people, the streets are closed to traffic at 3 p.m., and the square is divided into different viewing areas. The ball is raised to the top of the pole at 6 p.m. when the festivities begin. The entertainment program includes music and dance performances, and leads up to the ball drop, which begins at 11:59 p.m. when everyone starts counting down to 0 and cheering. This is a special moment when people join together to share their hope that the new year will be healthier and more prosperous than the old one. People may think that food choice is only important for keeping a healthy weight. However, the way we eat and the food choices we make every day also have a big impact on the environment. Food production is a major contributor to climate change. The process of growing, manufacturing, and transporting food, especially meat and dairy products, involves the use of fossil fuels. We all know that burning fossil fuels releases a huge amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. All the ingredients for our meals require land, water, and energy to produce, so the food we choose can either increase or decrease our carbon footprint. In addition, transporting food over long distances can create more greenhouse gas emissions. So what should we do? We should start by eating local and organic food. This can not only limit the amount of carbon dioxide produced during transportation, but can also help us avoid pesticides that are harmful to both humans and the environment. We should also choose a healthier diet with less animal-based food and more vegetables. Raising livestock for food requires huge amounts of water and grain, and can cause deforestation and pollution. Cows and sheep release methane as they digest plants and grass. Although it is shorter-lived than carbon dioxide, methane is a lot more powerful than carbon dioxide at warming the earth. That is why we should try to eat less red meat and dairy products. Making responsible food choices will not only improve our health and well-being, but will also have a positive impact on the environment. Leonardo da Vinci was one of the greatest painters, architects, and thinkers in his era. His works have influenced not only other artists and painters, but also people working in scientific fields. He was born in 1452 in a small town near Vinci, Italy, where his surname comes from. Leonardo loved nature and spent a lot of time drawing pictures of animals and plants. He received little formal education, but his uncle and father soon discovered his talent, so they decided to send him to a workshop in Florence to apprentice with the master artist Verrocchio. Da Vinci not only improved his skills in drawing, painting, and sculpting, but he also picked up knowledge and technical skills in other areas including mechanics, carpentry, metalwork, and architecture. In 1472, Leonardo qualified as a master artist and opened his own workshop. However, he still continued to work together with Verrocchio for the next 5 years. After that, he started working independently and completed a painting for the Duke of Milan. His work made a huge impression on the Duke, who decided to offer him a position in his court. While in Milan, Da Vinci was invited to design innovative buildings, machines, and weapons. He would draw up plans for several inventions of the future such as tanks, submarines, and flying machines. He was also skilled at drawing detailed sketches of the human body. He left behind several notebooks filled with diagrams, drawings, observations, and notes of his studies, ideas, and inventions. Unfortunately, his interests were so broad that he often changed his focus to a new project and rarely finished the works he had started. The Last Supper and Mona Lisa were two of the masterpieces he could finish during his lifetime. In 1495, he started The Last Supper, which took him nearly 3 years to complete. In 1503, he began painting the Mona Lisa and worked on it from time to time over several years until his death. Da Vinci died in 1519, at the age of 67, but he is still considered as one of the greatest geniuses of all time. His paintings changed the world of art, and many inventions were carried out based on his ideas and sketches. His greatness lies in the depth and diversity of his knowledge, and 500 years after his death his genius shines as bright as ever. In 2018, the United Nations announced that Singapore was completely urbanized, as 100% of its population is defined as urban. Urbanization has brought both advantages and disadvantages to the small city-state. On the one hand, Singapore has attracted a lot of skilled workers from many other countries to ensure the economy continues to grow. Migrants have also helped create a more culturally diverse society in Singapore. On the other hand, urbanization has caused some serious problems such as deforestation, overpopulation, and waste management. Since it was first colonized by the British in 1819 and Singapore was formally founded, over 95% of its vegetation has been cleared. In terms of population density, in many parts of Singapore, there are over 20,000 people living per square kilometre. Waste treatment used to be another problem in Singapore. However, thanks to the development of technology, this problem has been solved. Singapore has even become a leader in urban waste management. An Bin used to be a small village on the bank of the Red River. Local people mainly worked on farms and grew their own food. Public transport was not very convenient at that time. Villagers just went around the local area by bicycle or on foot. The only way for them to travel to another town or city was to cross the river by boat, then get on the train. Their life, however, started to change from the year 2000. A bridge across the Red River was built, connecting the village with one of the biggest motorways in the country. Since then, many local people have migrated to big cities. The village has also attracted people to come and start a business here. In addition, a new industrial zone has been developed. Local people and residents of neighboring villages have started working in the industrial zone's factories. The infrastructure has also been improved. Clean water facilities and drainage systems have been installed. A number of high-rise buildings have been built. Supermarkets, hospitals, and many other facilities have also been provided. The village has now grown into an urbanized town with a population of over 20,000 people. Life has become easier for its residents. However, there are now some new problems. A large number of young people are unemployed because they lack the necessary knowledge and skills to work in the factories. In addition, the town is getting more and more crowded. As a result, pollution has increased and has sparked concern among local residents and the authorities. Despite all these concerns, the life of An Bin's residents has generally become much better. If you're currently in secondary school, you may be interested in getting a job during your summer break. However, you may not know how to find a summer job. Here is some useful advice for you. Firstly, you should find out when your school will close for the summer. Then you should plan to apply for jobs 2 to 3 months before the start of your summer break. This can help ensure that you have a job already lined up when summer arrives. After that, you need to learn about the types of jobs that are available. For example, find out whether there are full-time or part-time jobs, and whether they require previous experience or training so that you can feel confident about applying.